Here's everything that went right for the Yankees in the 2023 season.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
What's up, Stace? Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, we're going to talk positive things today. What? You could do that on a Yankees podcast? Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. It's possible. Hey, we're still 5 days a week here on Locked On Yankees, even in the offseason. So we really appreciate you hanging out with us every day and making us your first listen. We're going to talk about the playoffs later on. Of course, just one game, the NLCS matchup between the D-backs and the Phils. Kim Ng back in the news, former Yankees higher up. So we got to talk about that. Also, Nestor Cortes becomes the first Yankee to chat in the offseason publicly. Got to talk a little bit about that. But first, Stacey, overall, number one, yesterday we did everything that went wrong. And you know me, big believer in positive and negative balancing each other out. As is apropos, everything that went right for the Yankees. It wasn't all just terrible. It wasn't. Was it a good season? No. Was it a terrible, terrible, god-awful season? No.
Right.
So, Stace, yesterday when we did the worst stuff, we started with spring training.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like the natural starting point.
Yeah.
And I felt like the natural starting point for our conversation today was the absolute best thing that happened. And his name is Gerrit Cole. And it started on opening day. Can we just reminisce about the incredible performance that was opening day, the most strikeouts in a Yankees opening day ever?
I mean, when you think of who's pitched for the Yankees in the last 100-something years, it's kind of crazy to think that it took that long for that to happen. And, he was going toe-to-toe with Webb that day because Webb had a lot of strikeouts, too, against the Yankees.
Yep, that was against, don't forget, playing the Giants?
Yeah.
Interleague on opening. Yeah, that was like another storyline, right? It was like interleague opening day.
It was interleague opening day. What if Judge had signed with them? He would have come back to the
That's right.
Stadium.
Remember the pictures of like the Arson Judge jerseys? Yes.
Yeah.
We were so naive.
Those halcyon days of April.
Everything about Cole. Like, let's just keep talking Cole. I mean, we're going to keep doing that in the offseason when he brings home the hardware. The finger wag, the famous finger wag. Oh, what a moment. What a great moment. Everything against Seattle. Everything he did against the Blue Jays this season. Becoming the All-Star Game starter. And just the strikeouts this year. Like, everything in April was incredible, right? Then he fell off in May, and then everything else was great. Like, just straight up, everything else was great. He had 5 starts this season where he struck at either 10 or 11.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, he finished really strong. He did really well. He should be the clear runaway winner of the Cy Young.
Oh, his last couple of starts.
Mm-hmm.
His last start.
Yeah, his last start was amazing.
Yeah. That was the 9-inning 2-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. That was in a big spot, too. Blue Jays were fighting, so that was awesome. I was so happy to watch Gerrit Cole every night. Other guys I was super happy to watch. Gleyber Torres, man, what a big season for him.
Yeah. It wasn't 2019 because everyone had inflated seasons that year with the juiced ball, but he was the most consistent offensive player for the Yankees all season. There were no extreme highs and extreme lows like with other guys, or extreme lows that continued throughout the whole season. He was pretty consistent the whole time and consistently good. So that was a nice positive from him.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, there was a guy that you were thinking could be supplanted heading into 2023, and he stepped up in a big way. Like, remember how big his bat was, especially in April? Mm-hmm. Like, he was forcing his way into that lineup, and that sustained for the rest of the season. That was great, man. I know he had his blunders, but like, what a great season from Gleyber. Yeah. She should be very proud of himself. Before running into Tatis, Anthony Rizzo was off to a career start. Like, that was a great start to the season.
His average was like over 300. He was he was incredible.
Oh, and he
And
was smoking it too. Like he was hitting the ball hard. Like he was finding gaps. Like his
yeah,
defense was
opposite
Anthony
field.
Rizzo
It was like,
defense. Everything,
what?
everything was going great.
Yeah, it really looked like, you know, I mean, I know I joked about the whole there not being shifts anymore. I'm like, oh, he's going to hit so much better now because of that. And then it kind of happened. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe the season will be Judge and Rizzo together hitting like crazy. And then he runs into, well, Fernando Tatis runs into him, really, right?
It was, it was 50. He had to reach for the ball, but
yeah. Oh, that's
but
right.
we're staying positive.
Yeah,
we're staying
that's
positive.
right.
We're staying positive.
Yeah.
You mentioned Judge, of course. When Judge was there for 70 to 90% of it, it was great, right?
Yes.
Remember when he robbed Shohei?
Ugh.
What an unreal game from Aaron Judge. He hit a bomb and took a bomb. That was unreal. And then everything he did against Toronto, the 2-homer game, the block in the eyes thing, like I loved it.
Breaking the maple leaf.
The maple leaf.
I mean, hitting it that far and that high and breaking the maple leaf. I mean, come on. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He likes playing in Toronto.
Loves it. I dare say loves.
He does so well there. It's kind of funny. You know, there are some players who kind of relish playing in certain home road stadiums. And Toronto was one of those places for Judge where, you know, in a different world, he could have gone to Toronto and been like a world beater out there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm glad to have him on this side, and we'll see what he does in 2024. Can't wait till he goes back there. What a night in Oakland. The Herman Perfecto.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, tinged later. We're not doing that today. That night was unreal. Remember how bad he was the night before? Like his previous start? His previous
start, awful. Absolutely
and then to do that,
awful. Yeah.
And then his uncle who had recently passed away. Like that was so awesome, dude. I was so happy for him that night. I was so happy for the Yankees that night.
Yeah, you know, and I know people were poo-pooing it because it was Oakland, but as I said that night, is everyone else no-hitting Oakland? No.
Not even no-hitting. Perfect game.
Perfecto. Yeah, you know, because whenever something like that happens, you know, I know a lot of times the teams that are no-hit, in a lot of instances, you know, it happens to teams that aren't that great, but if they were really awful, everyone else would be throwing perfectos against them, so.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's not easy, man. It's very tough.
No.
Other things that aren't easy, hitting 400 home runs, which, yes, Giancarlo Stanton got to this season, which is, yes, I know, we're not doing it today. But
right. We're going positive.
That was cool, man. That was a cool moment. That was super cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. 400 home runs is nothing to sneeze at. That is just such a big number. And God, he hits the hell out of him.
Yeah, when he gets them, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Just like I want to watch it on repeat forever.
Like even if it's not far, it's hard. You know, like that walk-off grand slam he hit against Pittsburgh in 2022. It didn't go far or high, but I mean, I can't even imagine anyone getting hit by that thing. It was like 118 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think it dented the Roto Clemente. Things I also loved watching was every time Aaron Boone got ejected this season. And of course, the big one against the White Sox was the face, the memes, the lines drawing that. I mean, everything was just, chef's kiss, man. Perfection.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Boone. He's just so dramatic and his ejections are hilarious. Hilarious. I love him. Oh,
yeah, that was great. Couple of series that were awesome towards the end of the season when the Yanks, in effect, knocked out the Red Sox.
It's always a good thing. It's always a good thing when the Yankees
they were booing.
The Yankees can knock out the Red Sox and then also finish ahead of them. I know the Yankees finished in fourth, but wasn't last place. So there's a positive.
Yeah, they were booing in Fenway. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Take that. And then, you know, we already mentioned the Toronto stuff, but going into Houston in September and sweeping the Astros. Massive. And that was, of course, Jasson Dominguez hitting his first career bomb off of Justin Verlander. What a night, dude. That was an incredible night.
Unbelievable. That's one of those, you know, I know Michael Kay always says it in some of his calls, but that really felt like a scripted moment. Like, how do you even come up with that? Off Justin Verlander? I know it's 40-year-old Justin Verlander, but it's still Justin Verlander. He's still a good pitcher. And for Dominguez to do that, and plus the rest of the game, other guys were hitting home runs off him too. Unbelievable. Just amazing, fantastic, you know, God, that series was so good. It was
That was a great series.
one of the last positive things of the
Yeah,
season.
that was one of the best things. Yeah, for sure. And just like some of the performances individually over throughout the season. I mean, Clarke Schmidt, we sang the praises of a lot. He came, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but man, he really stepped up this year. Michael King turning into a starter. Gosh, I'm so excited to watch him next season. Like, I can't wait to watch Michael King on the mound again. The proliferation at times of Jhony Brito and Randy Vasquez, like they came out of a semi nowhere as well. They were on the radar, but like, for them, especially Brito in the beginning, man, for him to perform that way was awesome. Clay Holmes, 90% of the season, like what a stud. What a stud.
That was a good bounce back from the latter half of 2022.
Yes, huge bounce back. Maybe career-saving bounce back type stuff. Amazing to watch Clay Holmes work in 23. Just the bullpen as a whole, like some of the unlikely cast of characters that would step up and like Luke Weaver, like all that stuff was great, man. I loved watching. Like when the bullpen came in, you're like, all right, Stace, let's record.
Yeah, like, it should be okay.
Yeah, we should be good. And then just some of the defensive plays from Anthony Volpe, man. Just like watching him glove work wise it's great.
Yeah, and even just some of his little moments, you know, some of his what turned into game-winning home runs or tying home runs or, you know, like big moments that he had. And yeah, he was fun to watch.
And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the Steve stuff, the minor league stuff. Huge seasons from Estevan Florial, Warren, Beater, Thorpe was massive. I mean, Drew Thorpe's season was amazing for him to come out like that. Richard Fitz, pitcher of the year in the Eastern League. We had him on the show. That was awesome. Jared Cerna's big emergence this year. Andre Chaparro's first half of the year was awesome. Like, there was some really good stuff. We're missing a bunch of minor leaguers. There was a whole bunch of really good performances this year. And just blanket statement, Somerset season was so great. So we had a whole bunch of fun. Look, we know it was a tough year. We know that. And they didn't perform the way that they thought and that everybody wanted them to. But that doesn't mean that everything was bad. This season did have its moments and we did have fun. And we loved coming here every day, talking with you guys in the comments, subtexting people, all that stuff. Like it was a really good year for the show. And we just want to make sure we say thank you, you know, like we just want to make sure we say that. We, of course, are still 5 days a week. We have Fan Mail Friday coming up here in a couple of days. So make sure to reply to that pinned comment here on YouTube to submit your Fan Mail Friday questions. If you want priority, join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club via subtext. Episode description has all the information. All right, we're going to step aside. News. Kim Ng out in Miami. What does that mean? We'll talk about that next.
October baseball is back, and you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to create your new account. Then you can get in on the action from the first pitch until the final out. Bet on everything from strikeouts to home runs to who will win the game. And if you don't want to wait the whole game to get a W, predict what will happen in the next at bat with quick bets. And I don't know about you, but I'd be betting on Bryce Harper to hit a home run, maybe Nick Castellanos. Just do that. Do it. Believe me, that's a guaranteed bet. So head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. Step up to the plate this postseason with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, everydayers. You're still here. Still watching. Every day. Fan Mail Friday. You guys already know that. But I always got to remind you. You know, I just want it always front of mind. Fan Mail Friday. Fan Mail Friday. Fan Mail Friday. Pinned comment here on YouTube. It says reply here. Hit that reply button. You submit a Fan Mail Friday question. If you want to get, of course, priority, subtext, episode description. You guys hear me say it every day. All right. Stace, news from Miami. Kim Ng is not returning as the general manager of the Miami Marlins. Of course, Kim Ng, former AGM of the Yankees, has bounced around in her MLB career, was formerly with Major League Baseball, worked for Joe Torre, yada, 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 yada. I'm taking this from ESPN. This is linked in the episode description as always. This is the wrinkle of it that I found interesting. Of course, was interested when she wasn't returning. I went, what? How did that happen?
Yeah.
This is what happened. Quote from ESPN. The Miami Marlins wanted to hire a president of baseball operations over general manager Kim Ng, despite her constructing a playoff team this year, sources told ESPN, leading to her departure from the organization Monday. Ng was offered a contract extension, sources told ESPN's Buster Olney, but she turned it down. Stacey, your reaction to this, honestly, pretty surprising news.
Yeah. Like you said, the first news was she wasn't returning and everyone was thinking, oh, why? Then the news came out that they wanted to hire someone basically to oversee her work. And then I thought, oh, well, that's why.
Yeah, I would have left too.
I would have left.
It's one thing if Miami didn't have the year they had.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, okay, we need to shake it up. We like Kim Ng, but maybe need a little help here.
Right.
His first GM job, I'm playing super, super kind here.
Mm-hmm.
His first GM job, all that stuff. If it didn't work, okay, I can see trying to get some help. Maybe getting an AGM, whatever. Baseball ops, okay, that's over her head.
Mm-hmm.
But after the season the Marlins had, there's no excuse that you needed that. None.
No. The Marlins always seem to shoot themselves in the foot.
I don't understand it. I don't understand. What more did Kim Ng need to do?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. She made some great trades. She put together a solid roster.
Mm-hmm.
She dealt Pablo Lopez, got a batting champ. That's a miracle in its own right. And also didn't really lose much on the pitching front after also losing Sandy Alcantara for like the whole season.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he pitched for most of it, but he wasn't himself. He was awful. And it was basically like they didn't have him. He was so bad all year and then, had to have the surgery after the season. But
yeah.
I mean, do we want to, let's just get into it for a second. It feels like they wouldn't have done this if she wasn't a woman. And I hate to say it, but it feels like it.
I can't make an argument against that. I can't in good faith make an argument against that.
It's so annoying. She got passed over for so many different GM jobs, and she was more qualified than so many dudes who got GM jobs in the last 20 years. She's been around for a really long time, and she finally got her flowers. She finally got this job, and the Marlins are like, oh, we're going to bring someone in to, just keep an eye on you.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Yes.
Again, it would have been slightly different if the Marlins didn't have the season that they had.
Yeah. Yeah. Like some of those moves were just
brought in Skip Schumacher.
Yeah.
He was great. Like again, what else do you want? What else did you want for a season, a team that's made the postseason for the first time in like 600 years? What did you want? I don't get it. I don't get it. It was someone's about to get a really good general manager.
Yeah. That a lot of people are saying Boston, maybe, which I really don't want. No, actually, you know what? Part of me does. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. Part of me wants her to go to Boston, wants them to do what they normally do, where they do really badly and then win a World Series the next year. And I want her to be the one to win the World Series so the Yankees can just sit there and be like,
that should have been our GM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have that thought.
Again, petty, but,
Here we are.
Here
we are. Hey, in lighter news.
Yes.
We haven't seen any Yankee since the end of the season. We just haven't.
Other than Aaron Judge posting pictures of themselves with Gus and Penny, there's nothing else happening.
There's nothing else. Like no one's come out and said anything. No interviews. No nothing.
No.
I haven't seen nothing. But Nestor Cortes emerges from the shadows to say hello to MLB Network on Tuesday. On Tuesday, chatting with Sierra Santos. Sierra Santos, by the way, awesome, super nice. Known her for a long time. She's really great. A couple of things that, and this is linked in the episode description. It's like a 20-minute interview. Pretty easy watch if you want to go check it out. It's not deep. It's a kind of a fluff, but it's fun. Whatever. It's off season. Good to see Nestor smiling. He answered some fan questions. That was cool. He revealed this, Stacey. For a couple of years, he was riding the subway to Yankee Stadium from Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's bizarre to me.
You know what's funny? I feel like this is a thing though, because you see baseball players with hats on all the time. And it kind of really changes what they look like, because there's some baseball players that I think look completely different. And then when they come over to the Yankees, like Carlos Rodon, I was like, oh, that's that's him? I'm like, oh, okay. I totally messed. Like, I don't know if it's a face blindness thing with me or what, but I feel like there are a lot of people who don't recognize people without their hats on. So baseball players can go on the subway and be completely, because basketball players obviously can't because they're too tall to fit in a subway car. So yeah, I feel like baseball players can get away with that, and especially like. I mean, I think I would recognize Nestor, but there are other guys I wouldn't recognize.
Well, you got to. He said he did that through 2021.
Okay.
If he had done that in 2022, no, there was no way.
No, the stash would give it away. Yeah,
it was over. I just thought that was bizarre because he didn't have a permanent place, so he was staying near Times Square, and then he was riding the subway.
Was he staying with Judge? Because Judge was near Times Square for a while too.
Other thing he revealed, Stacey, and this kind of goes into something we talked about yesterday about the fan survey on The Athletic. Everydayers saw that episode. He revealed that Wandy Peralta is maybe the funniest guy in baseball. Wandy? Maybe that's why everyone wants him to come back. Maybe he's like a good clubhouse guy.
I think he might be, because I'm trying to think of I saw something with them asking questions about people, and a bunch of the guys were mentioning Wandy for something, and Cole, Donaldson, like it wasn't even just the pitchers, it was like the position players were also mentioning him, and it feels like maybe he could be.
I think that might have been a Yes Network TikTok.
Maybe.
Because you know how they were doing that a little bit, like walking into the tunnel. They did that. Remember, they also showed it. They did like do your best, Nestor Cortes. Like,
oh my God, Cole.
Up. Cole's, yeah.
He's like he didn't twist his ankle. Yeah.
That would have been the most 2023.
Michael King almost falls over.
Yeah. It's like, oh, sorry, Clay Holmes out for season doing Nestor Cortes impersonation. Yeah, that would have been a real 2023 moment for sure. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll leave this linked in the episode description. You guys want to check it out again. It's like 20 minutes. It's a pretty light, cool chat, though. But it's good to see Nestor happy. He talked a little bit about the off season as well, what his plans were, and how he's coming back from the injuries that he sustained and the fatigue stuff. So they did talk baseball as well, and he gave some cool little like insight to his Hialeah days and all that stuff. So go check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a simple watch. You go watch that after you finish watching this. It's linked down below. All right, we're going to step aside one more time. We come back. Phil's D-backs, Game 2, NLCS. Let's chat about it. This episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs is the best place. I'm telling you guys, it's the best place to buy men's shorts and pants. They use anti-stink, sweat, wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. They sent us a couple of pairs a few months ago, and guess what? I'm still wearing them. I still wear my Bird Dogs. I ain't getting rid of them. It's not like, sometimes you get stuff and you're just like a Christmas present. You're just like, no, sorry, Grandma, I'm not wearing that. This isn't something. You get this from your grandma and be like, Grandma, how did you find Bird Dogs? Well, you probably get knocked on every day. They're super comfortable. And of course, you guys can also get a free water bottle. Go check it out when you place an order at birddogs.com. They're going to have something for you, I promise. You go to birddogs.com/lockedonmlb. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedonmlb for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off, we promise. Back here on Locked On Yankees, time for our final segment here today, talking a little bit about the NLCS. All right, Stacey, so I'm gonna run something past you here. So Spencer Strider had like an interview. It was like one of those like that guy that like records with his phone. Like you ever seen those like on Instagram and TikTok or whatever?
Yes.
And like they were like, "What's your baseball hot take?" Like unpopular opinion. And Spencer Strider said there should be no fans.
Now, wasn't he kidding?
Yes, but he did say it.
Right.
And then he got you know what on at the bank. Yeah. So that happened. Mm-hmm. And then what happened again? Merrill Kelly talking about like, it's probably not going to be as loud as it was in Miami during the WBC. I mean, 4 runs in 5 2/3, not a terrible outing, but gave up a couple of bombs, and then it unraveled from there. So I'm just saying, maybe don't say anything about crowds when it concerns Philadelphia, even in the slightest.
Yeah. Yeah, all 3 hits were home runs that he gave up. That's
yep.
Yeah, like he didn't pitch badly, really. Outside of the home runs, he was doing pretty well. But and then the wheels fell off
Big time.
in the seventh. So
Yeah. I mean, they were falling off. They were wobbling like crazy.
right, like
and then Evan Longoria kicked them off.
Yeah, they were like the shopping cart with the wobbly.
Yes.
And then it just went. It fell off.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The Walmart shopping cart. Yeah. I mean, we said. Did I say it yesterday? The Phillies are just built for this.
Mm-hmm.
They're just built for this, and this is how I know. Every time they show the on deck circle on TBS, I go, ugh.
Yeah.
And that's when you know.
Every guy, it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
There you go.
Like every guy comes up, it's like
there's no rest. You can't take a guy off.
There really isn't. And they had everything working. The pitching was good. Defense, Alec Boehm made like 3 plays that were like crazy. Outfield play also. I like how the outfielders really like each other. I think
everything's working. Everything. Show me something that isn't working for Philly right now. That they don't get to play at home every day, the schedule?
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is.
The only thing?
That's the only thing. It is, I think I heard the crowd through my window in New York. That's how loud it was. I mean, Jesus, it was so loud. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it. I haven't been to a playoff game since 2011, and I used to go all the time with my season tickets, and I miss it. Like I really, really, really miss it. The one time I really wish I had been in a playoff game was the 2017, of all things, ALCS, because the 3 middle games in Yankee Stadium were good, and that was a bummer that I wasn't there. But I miss that atmosphere. The people behind the plate in Philly are sitting, but the people in the rest of the stands are all standing, just like almost the entire game. It's unbelievable. I miss that atmosphere so much.
Last playoff game I went to, 2014 ALDS game 1, Angels Royals, and like the energy was good walking in, but there was nothing really to talk about during the game. It was a stinker, and we're like, great. I don't know if I've said this. I don't think I've said this on the show. I don't know if I've told you this. We everydayers know we talk about the 2009 season a lot with your fandom and my growing up fandom. I had tickets to that World Series. I had tickets to Game 1 of the 2009 World Series.
Yeah. Someone gave me Game 7 tickets because they were convinced that the Yankees were going to blow the games and make it a 7-game series. I'm like, they're winning in 6. I predicted it before the series started. I said they're winning in 6. And before Game 6, my coworker gave me tickets to Game 7, and I was home. And part of me was like, no, I don't want to be at a Game 7. Not for the World Series. No. So I was very happy with Hideki Matsui's performance. My last playoff game, they lost to Detroit in 2011. I went to 2 games in a row, actually. The resumption of a rainout from the night before, because a friend of mine from Virginia couldn't make that game. He had to go home. And then my brother and I got tickets at the last minute for the second game, and they lost that one. So yeah, the last playoff game I went to, they lost. Womp womp.
Nice. I mean, to your point of having tickets for a Game 7, I had Game 7. I went to a Game 7 hockey, Ducks knocked out by the Preds. That was super fun. That was a great feeling to walk out of that building and go like, oh, well, season's over. Cool. Sweet. I had a great time.
Yeah. I was at
losing a Game 7's terrible.
I was at a losing Game 5 against Cleveland in 2007. That was my last playoff game at the old stadium because they didn't make the playoffs the next year. And I was like,
yeah.
Really? That's going to be my last playoff memory in this place?
Those are gambles. Those are gambles. I remember I had a childhood friend, last playoff ticket story. Childhood friend growing up, coworker of her dad's was like, hey, I got an extra ticket tonight. Do you want to go? Game 7 of the 2002 World Series. And just happened to be there. Sure, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, you'll go. So, hey, it's a crapshoot, man. All of it is. But if you get tickets, even if it's a Game 7, I think you should go. That's just my 2 cents. Either way, you're going to watch something.
Klonopin, something.
Yeah, something. Hey, what was the last playoff game you went to? Tell us in the comment section down below. Yeah. And is it for the D-backs? Are you out, or do you think they can turn it around at Chase Field? We'll see.
No, I think they can. Yeah.
Yeah. let us know down in the comment section, of course, everything else about Kim Ng, about Nestor's interview, the best moment this season for you, all of it. We want to hear it down below here on YouTube. Don't forget, coming up on Friday, Fan Mail Friday, you have a couple more days to reply to that pinned comment. So do that now here on the YouTube side, and you can get on the show here on Friday. And that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.